Pilot population. We need to grow the pilot population. Available workforce. And, of course, FAA reauthorization. When you look at these numbers, we've had a long-term decline in the number of private pilots. This is just private pilots, so it doesn't include commercial and ATP and others, but it's not a good-looking trend. We need to turn this around. As an aviation community, we need to make sure that we are growing the low end so that we will have the pilots that we need as workforce and the customers that we need to be growing this industry in the long run. Now, when these people depart, they are still pilots. I like to tease pilots about this. They say, well, I used to be a pilot. My answer is, no, you're still a pilot. You're just not active. We need to bring them back into the fold. We need to educate them. We need to demonstrate to them the new value of aviation, reacquaint them with why they wanted to learn to fly in the past. And I do believe that we can turn this trend around. We've got a number of programs still going on in the industry. AOPA has the Project Pilot, a mentor program. We've got Young Eagle at EAA. A number of things we need to be doing. So some good news here. Sport pilots. This is a new category, as you know, with the FAA. We have sport pilots, we have light sport aircraft, and one place where we're seeing quite a lot of growth. We expect that to continue. We've also got the first time now some GAMA manufacturing, Cirrus and Cessna, both introducing LSA aircraft, and we're both committed to the same thing, which is growing pilot starts and making sure that we've got a good, healthy industry. They'll be fun also.
Aero-TV is brought to you by...
Today, there is an affordable, high-performance, easy-to-own and easy-to-operate very light jet designed with you in mind. Far less expensive than any other twin-engine jet to buy, it is also the least expensive to own and operate. It is the Eclipse 500, the jet that's easy to buy, easy to fly, and fun to own. The jet for you.
Now, back to Aero-TV.
Available workforce. We talked about the good news. Good news is that manufacturing jobs are up 9.8%. The bad news is we need to train more people to work in this industry. We've got 30% increase that we need over the next decade. This is one estimate 20,000 workers over the next 10 years, and a shortage of engineers. Now, I'm sometimes told that we don't really have a shortage of engineers, they just don't want to move to Duluth, Minnesota, but I don't believe that. I think that, in fact, there is a shortage of engineers. But when you look at these, what it really is about creating the necessary workforce, one of my huge frustrations is that we have people out there looking for jobs, supposedly. We have students bemoaning their future. Where are they going to work? Aviation. We've got an expanding industry. I'm optimistic that it will continue to expand significantly. So what we have to do is make them aware first that this is a great opportunity, a great industry to work in, then make sure they get the right education. This education will include things like the National Center for Aviation Training, something that's going on down at Wichita, where they're putting together a program to begin to prepare this workforce and to help them grow. This workforce includes A&Ps, mechanics. It includes manufacturing people, because we obviously have new technology coming on board in manufacturing, and obviously special engineering training. When you look at engineering schools, obviously we've had a huge number of people who have gone over into the computer, the high-tech sort of world. But we need to remember that that is, in fact, aviation as well. Aviation has a lot of software and electronics. But we need to keep people focused on engineering educations to help grow our workforce base and our economy. So let's talk about the most challenging part of this. FAA reauthorization. This is a huge disappointment to me. I really did think that we were going to be close to getting an agreement last year. Instead, what we've got is a reintroduction of the same old bill, which was clearly rejected last year, but surprisingly introduced again. We also have the problem of the aviation taxes. Now, Pete did point out to me, Pete Bunce, a little bit ago, that the House was acting today on a bill to extend the aviation taxes through June, which is a good start, because if having the taxes lapse will obviously be a terrible disadvantage for the Aviation Trust Fund. But this is a huge part of the problem of aviation. We're focused on the wrong things. The President's budget for 2009 proposed the exact same thing that had already been rejected by Congress. It doesn't make sense, and one of the disappointing parts about it for me is that it's focused on the wrong problems. For example, dismissing or reducing the airport investment program, the AIP funds, by 22%. I think everyone would agree when they look at the facts, the problem we have is not enough runways. We don't need to be taking away money from expanding airports, whether they're reliever airports for general aviation or the main hubs. So what we've really got to do is make sure we're focused on growing this system.
Aero-TV is brought to you by Cirrus aircraft have always been easy to fly. Now they're easier than ever to buy. A complete line of ownership programs gives you everything you need to purchase, trade, finance, lease, insure, and warranty your Cirrus. There's even an ownership program for non-pilots. The Cirrus Access Pilot can teach you how to fly or fly the plane for you. Find out more at www.cirrusdesign.com. Cirrus, for the love of flying. Now, back to Aero-TV.
Obviously, last year was the year of the war between general aviation and the airlines. A huge, huge, huge disappointment, because we ought to be on the same side working together. So let's get past this. Let's have Congress complete the FAA refinancing bill. Get it over and done with. There is a fair system in place now. There are some changes that have been approved by the House of Representatives in the past. It does need to just get passed and get moving. Reject any type of user fees. My background's in physics and economics. I love to argue with people about economics. I also tend to think of myself as a free market capitalist. And I will have people come to me and say, but you should be the one who believes in user fees. And my answer is, the only thing worse than government from an economics point of view is monopoly. And that's what we would have if the user fee system as proposed went into place. You would have in fact, a monopoly. Monopolies do not drive efficiency. We do need to extend the aviation taxes until the bill passes. Obviously, leaving that cash to the side would just be a huge loss for the industry. And we need to focus on modernization. Now, Pete's going to talk a lot about this in a moment, but I do want to point out that this ought to be the single most important effort in the industry and the effort that brings us all back together. We all are on the same side here. We need to help the FAA and the government get on with the process of modernization. We have huge benefits for a growing economy and a growing industry if we'll just work together on doing this right.